Allow me to inspire you this morning. I'm excited. This guy, where they see in pictures, so his name is Terrence Crawford. As we speak, he's the greatest fighter in the world when it comes to boxing. As a matter of fact, one of the most popular athletes in the world right now as we speak. Why? Because people told him that you cannot do it. Yes, that was his nickname. You can't do it. No, it's too small. He's not this. He's not that. So they don't even give him a fight. They fight once a year. But this guy just kept going. He was sharpening his skills. He was making sure that when the time was right, he was going to be ready. Now, this guy was an amateur boxer. His mother was always setting him up for fights because he was a stubborn kid, just like a lot of kids, right? Go to school, fight in school, come back. His mother will take him to the streets and look for the strongest kid on that street and pay the kid to beat her son. But the reverse was always the case. The boy will end up beating the person. You understand? So his mother later, he found a boxing gym and he went into the boxing gym. He was training, and the coach, who was the former boxer himself, told this guy that I will not allow you to go through what I went through in the boxing ring, but I'm going to train you. And then he started training. Now, first of all, the unique thing about this guy is that everybody that he trained with in that gym, the coach, the team members, all of them, he has kept them till today. He has been fighting for 30 years. He's 37, so he started fighting boxing since he was 7. Yes. Amateur. Then he became a professional. When he became a professional, they'll give him fight, he will knock the person out. They'll give him fight, he will knock the person out. They'll give him fight, he will knock the person out. And then, but he wasn't a trash talker. And if you know what the fight business is about, you know that some people, they can sell fights. People like Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is unique because he will say the trash talk and then he will fight the fight and win. But this guy was not a trash talker. He would just say it calmly that, I know I can beat this person. Everybody was on different platforms, ESPN and the rest. The first fight that they gave this guy that was on TV was on HBO. HBO is big, but it's not like it's not a worldwide stuff. It's just mainly for Americans, right? So this guy was bothered. And then he kept fighting and fighting. Once a year, they'll give this guy fight. This guy could deliver. He will fight and win. He will fight and win. He will fight and win. And then they started looking his way. But the way you're looking at his way positively, they kept saying, this one that is showing himself is because he's not fought anybody, any good, correct fighter. That's what they kept saying. He has not fought any correct fighter. He has not done this. He has not done that. The guy kept saying, bring the fighter forward. He was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao dodged. Manny Pacquiao didn't fight him because he wasn't a money spinner. He wasn't that guy that you put the match together and people would say, oh, let's go and watch him. You know, those kind of stuff. And there's this guy called Errol Spence. Errol Spence is like the darling of America. The guy is good. He's slick. He's a wonderful fighter. Then now finally, he chased this guy for 5 years. He kept saying he wants to fight this guy. You know he can beat this guy. They kept saying, you sit down. You're not level. You cannot fight him. You cannot do this. But they know he was a good fighter, right? But he wasn't a money spinner. He's not the guy that will come and start talking a lot of trash. No. And finally, after 5 years, Errol Spence came forward and told him in the press conference when they wanted to fight, who have you fought? You have not fought anybody. You are just, the guy told Terrence Crawford. They have respect for each other, but of course you have to do trash talk. But he doesn't do it. He just keeps saying, I'm going to beat you. That's the most important thing. And he fought Terrence Crawford. Ladies and gentlemen, that was when he started gaining his serious respect. He beat Terrence Crawford like Terrence Crawford did not even train. And guess what? The naysayers came back to say, oh, Terrence Crawford had an accident some time ago. That's what probably affected him. Before the fight, they were saying he doesn't have a chance. Now, he beat Terrence Crawford convincingly. And this is one thing about this guy. He will beat you as a fellow fighter to the point that people will think that you are out of this thing, you cannot longer fight. That's why he was able to beat you, because the guy is so good. He will finish fighting, you will not see any cut in his eyes. He did that, and he became world champion in 3 weight divisions: 140, 135, 140, and 147, right? And then, because he was not getting fights regularly, he decided to move up to 154, and they gave him a guy called Madrimov. The fight was a bit close, but he delivered, and he won that fight. When he won the fight, people started saying, you see, his power could not do Madrimov anything. Madrimov almost beat him. He was just lucky. He was just this. He was just that. The guy kept on saying, bro, anybody you put in front of me, I'm going to beat the person. Just know this and know this now. And they kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And lo and behold, one man from Turkey, from Saudi Arabia, Turkey Alishe, they are the guys that put up the fight between Usyk and this big guy, Tyson Fury. They're the guys that put up the fight, because they came into boxing, because boxing had a problem. You have 4 different champions in the same weight class, and then champions are dodging to fight each other because they all want to keep their belt. But Turkey Alishe and his bosses from Saudi Arabia, they came into the boxing scene and they said, okay, we are going to make these fights because we think that the main problem is the money. We're going to put the money down and make champions fighting themselves. And they started. They did this. They've been doing it for a while. Now they've done all the heavyweight fights, and they look at the situation and they say, okay, what do we do now? They say, okay, let's bring this boy, this Terrence Crawford, that is always saying he can beat somebody, he can beat somebody. Meanwhile, Terrence Crawford was at the gym training one day. One man walked up to him and said, I know that you can beat the face of boxing. Yes, I know you can beat the face of boxing. Who is the great man from Mexico? What's his name again? The person he just beat yesterday. The man from Mexico. Oh God. Alvarez. Yes, that's Alvarez. That's Canelo, the great Alvarez. And then he started saying, yes, I know I can beat Alvarez. The first time they told him the thing, he said, Alvarez is at 168. I'll move 3 divisions up to fight Alvarez. So when they brought the fight, Alvarez said, God, that guy is too small. He cannot fight me. There's weight class for a reason. Boxing pundits, everybody kept saying, there's weight class for a reason. But this guy said, I've seen Alvarez. Canelo, I know I can beat Canelo. They said because when Canelo was younger, he fought Mayweather. Mayweather was already retiring from boxing. Mayweather beat him flawlessly. So after that, Canelo became big. And then if you know Mexicans, you know that Mexicans will always support their fighters. So whenever Canelo Alvarez is fighting, the card is always big. Mexicans will always pay for those fights. And then he became the money spinner in boxing. So when it was time for him to fight Terrence Crawford, he said, the guy is too small. How can you come from 147 to come and fight me? For 154 that you fought the other day, your blow could not even do the guy any serious damage. And all of that. And then the fight was, finished. They thinking, can this fight work? Can this work? But Terrence Crawford kept saying one thing. I know that God is going to use me to prove something. But I know I can beat this guy. And then they brought in the man who built UFC, Dana White, and Turkey Alishe. That's the guy from Saudi Arabia. They sat together and they said, let's make this fight happen. And then the fight started boiling up. This guy, Terrence Crawford, just kept training quietly. And then they had a press conference. It was quiet. Everybody kept talking. Everybody, including me, will be a worry boy. I was scared because I was listening to professionals. Even Mike Tyson said, it's crazy. How can you move from this thing to 168? It doesn't make sense. Now, he wasn't just going to fight anybody in 168. He was going to fight Canelo Alvarez. Forget the money that Canelo Alvarez brings to boxing. Canelo Alvarez is one of the strongest puncher in this generation. He used to fight guys bigger than him and he will knock them to sleep. But Terrence Crawford said, I know that I can beat this guy. Nobody gave him a chance. Everybody. To the point that when they were promoting this fight, they brought Netflix on board. Netflix said, okay, because this guy already has 41-0, because he has never lost a fight. But because he already has 41 and oh, let's make this thing happen. Let's see. But then everybody, including the Turkey, said that Canelo Alvarez, one punch, they don't know if Terrence Crawford can hold himself when they punch him. They would like to see it. And ladies and gentlemen, they fixed the date for September 13th. Terrence Crawford kept training. Canelo Alvarez kept training. You know, they were training. They would do trash talk. The trash talk was not even much. Canelo Alvarez was even learning how to curse just so he can make this guy. They now told Canelo Alvarez, what if he lost this fight to this guy? He said, I can never lose to this guy. I will punish him in the ring. And everybody said, yes, he has made Canelo vex. Canelo is going to come out fully and punish this guy. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody kept talking. My guy, Terrence Crawford, kept saying, I know I will beat this guy. He granted an interview and he went to buy a watch. Don't forget, he's 41 and 0. He went to buy a watch when the fight was closed. He said this US encrypt 42 and 0 on that watch. And people got angry. He's here. He has started. He has beaten more than he can chew. Ladies and gentlemen, the fight came September 13th. To cut this long story short, if you have not seen the fight, just go on YouTube and check Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. He beat Canelo Alvarez convincingly to the point that the same punch that people said, oh, when they blow him once, he will know. He took those punches and stood firm, and he was punching Canelo Alvarez like Canelo Alvarez was an amateur boxer. He beat Canelo Alvarez convincingly to the point that the ref could not cheat. They still cheated him because they said it's 113, 115. No, this guy won about 9 of those fights, 9 rounds, because it was a 12-round bout. And today, he is the face of boxing at 37 years old. In 2 weeks' time now, he's going to be 38. Believe and believe in God. Once you say, I can do it, don't sit down. Go and start training. I hope this video inspires you. Go and look up at the guy. That now, when he won that fight, when they were announcing, they said, the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska. That thing bust my head. I said, can I have a guy now in the fight? Somebody bet $1 million that he was going to lose. That Canelo, not just lose, Canelo was going to knock him out. Do you know the meaning of, so somebody bet $1 million that you will lose a fight? It means that the guy knows that you don't have a chance. But guess what? Jay-Z bet $500,000 that this guy, this Terrence Crawford, will beat Canelo Alvarez. Guess what? He won that fight. He took all the belts from Canelo Alvarez. And now Canelo Alvarez is contemplating retirement. If Terrence Crawford retires today, he is the GOAT of this generation. That's just the truth. Now they are trying to say, oh, okay, he has beat Canelo. Canelo is not saying his best. Let him go and fight another person. I still know the grace.